Hey guys, how's it going? So, on Saturday, I tried to stream the Genshin 3.3 Interlude, and I was going to do the Genius Invocation TCG stuff afterwards, but unfortunately, I switched to a new ISP that, even though it's actually like 3 times faster than my family's one, it was having some troubles. I had to change some stuff in my firewall, and I think that did it. So, I thought today we'd do a quick stream, just kind of talking about my thoughts on the Interlude, and then we could still do like the Genshin Impact TCG quest here right now, because I'm really curious to see what it is. This new permanent game mode. I mean, they've even added it out to the pass for the weekly missions, which means that they've clearly got a good plan in mind for it, and they want it to be something that'll stick around for a long time. I also thought it'd be nice to try and do some weekday streams, or at least a little bit more frequently than we usually do, hopefully this week and next week, since I actually have a 6-day work week this week. I have to work on Saturday, so I won't be able to do my normal stream around like 2 p.m. MST at 4 p.m. EST on Saturday. I'll try to stream Sunday though, and then the following weekend is Christmas and Christmas Eve. I will probably stream that following Monday, but again, going to be a little bit of weird timing over the holidays, as I think it is for a lot of people. But overall, I really enjoyed the Interlude. I will say, just to begin with, I am a little bit biased. My favorite character is pretty obvious, and my most used character is, also pretty obvious. So, I was a bit skeptical when they first said that Scaramouche was going to be introduced as a playable character, because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm biased. I'm just not a huge fan of him. I think it might be a bit of an unpopular opinion to say that, but I always had a hard time with the character for the same reason I had a hard time with Tartaglia, in that, in my opinion, whether it's fiction or like real life, a super tragic backstory doesn't necessarily mean that a character gets a free pass to do whatever they want. And at the end of the day, like Tartaglia, for example, even if he still achieved like his end goal of getting the Gnosis from Liyue, and the plan didn't work because it was thwarted by Ningguang dropping the Jade Chamber and a good chunk of her livelihood onto Osial, if Tartaglia's plan had gone the way it had apparently been intended, the majority of the people in Liyue Harbor would have been killed. And so it kind of leads to the theory that's been going around for a long time that I've actually really bought into, and I don't know if it's actually the case, but people have been thinking and theorizing for a long time that the Harbingers that will be playable will probably be ones that will align themselves with us at some point. In that vein, it makes sense. Tartaglia was allies with us for much of the Liyue story. We obviously got this interlude with Scaramouche/Wanderer. And for that reason, I actually think, from the very, very little we know, I was actually really excited because there was a very brief mention of the Joker, the #1 Harbinger Piero, in there. But for that reason, I have a really hard time imagining Dottore ever being playable. And I could actually see Arlecchino and Capitano being playable. In Capitano's case, we're aware that even if it was a bit on uneasy terms, he was on somewhat amicable terms, at least like passing terms, with Varka's expedition from the voice lines we got from Mika during an event a little bit ago. And then with Arlecchino, even though it's kind of a negative connotation, he does distinctly say that she has her own agenda, and if she stood to benefit from betraying others, she'd turn against the Tsaritsa. Now, in some sense, that does mean that even if it was only temporary, similar to Tartaglia, in some sense, Tartaglia is still on pretty good terms with us. Even if it's only temporary, that's a bit of an excuse for that to happen. And I will say, I also don't know 100% at this point. I think everyone was pretty sold on the idea that Signora was no longer ever going to be playable, because she's dead. But then they did go ahead and bring back, obviously, all the voice actors for the different languages for her for this interlude, because there was a scene with Signora from Scaramouche's past. So I'm still going to hold out a little bit, especially with the knowledge of like what happened with Wanderer and Scaramouche, even if it was only temporary and the current version regained all of his memories. It's still, I think, maybe being hinted that it's possible, although I wouldn't hold my breath on it. Overall, though, for the interlude, again, I was thinking going into things, I was of the same opinion of Miko for a long time. I thought that the only way we were going to deal with a character like Scaramouche was for him to be destroyed. But then we slowly and slowly got more and more redeeming traits, and I think they gave him a really good redemption arc. The idea that he was even willing to go so far as to attempt to erase himself from the world, and then in his newer form, without his memories, he asked to have his memories back so that he could know the truth. And despite everything, even after recovering his memories, he wasn't hostile. I actually found it really hilarious that the Traveler kind of shared my mentality for the first time, I would say in a lot of quests, in that they were very, very skeptical of Wander the entire interlude, like to the point of being like sassy and somewhat antagonistic. Because you have to consider too, in the events of like the Archon quest, he killed us like what, almost a couple hundred times. We also got to see a little bit more about Nahida, which I thought was really cool, some more of her powers. And one thing that's really interesting, and it's still obviously a little bit up in the air about who it was, is towards the very end here. And this was one part that I didn't even get to on stream. But you'll see right here, there's a female voice that was spoken. It's noted as like question mark. I believe it's been confirmed that we are going to Fontaine next.
You sound lost and confused.
But it's that voice right there that we talked to for a little bit. But what's interesting to me is I did not think that could genuinely be one of the Archons that we're going to meet. All of them, I believe, have been confirmed unless they pull the rug out from under us. The remaining 3 Archons are female. Obviously, the Tsaritsa is, but I believe it's been confirmed that the other 2 are as well. In fact, I think I've heard that the Pyro Archon and the God of War is going to be based off Himeko from Honkai, which I think also makes a lot of sense. They do a lot of parallel characters. Raiden Mei is very similar to the Shogun / A. You've got the Unknown God looks very similar to the Hersher of the Void, which is another form of Kiana, the protagonist of Honkai Impact 3rd. I don't think we've ever seen a character of like Bronya, and I do know that I've actually found people be very divided. I had a hard time seeing it, but I'm not a huge expert on Honkai. I didn't get very far into the game. But I know a lot of people are very divisive on whether or not Shenhe is meant to represent Fuhua. And those are, some of the big cast, alongside Himeko potentially being a character. So it would make a lot of sense to me. I know a lot of games like this tend to, when they make other series, will reuse some of those assets and edit them to a little bit, which I think is fine. But I'm just curious about whether or not that's new Archon, and I would just find it surprising if they introduced another one in that way, because that is kind of what they did with Nahida for the first time, with her voice in the Golden Apple Archipelago. And it's also a little bit strange because I can't recall any of the other Archons showing that ability, that kind of telepathic ability. And for a while, I actually thought it might be unique to Nahida. Perhaps, Greater Lord Ruka Devada had that ability. That would also make sense. But then we also saw in the interlude, Wanderer was able to do that, although they had to hold hands with the Traveler to do so. But again, that also makes sense because he had a fragment of his power. But there's a lot of really interesting things to kind of unpack there. I mean, overall, though, I think they did a really good job. A lot of those quests are I think if you listen to all the dialogue, it takes about 3 hours. I think skipping through everything, it usually takes or speed reading. For me, it usually takes about 2. But I don't know, for me, it kind of felt like it was a really short quest until I kind of sat down and looked at what footage I could salvage and then played through the rest of it. And I thought that was really, really surprising. Overall, though, we also got to see a little bit of interesting backstory beyond what we already knew about, the source myths of Inazuma. I found that really interesting as well. Giving Scaramouche some closure. I was surprised that we didn't get any information on, it didn't seem to me like his anger. He's obviously, Wander is still very, very upset with Dottore. That was explicitly stated. And to some extent, based on what we kind of saw in some of the flashbacks, I do wonder if that's going to extend to Piero and the Tsaritsa as well. There's no way to tell. None of the Harbingers seem to be on particularly great terms with each other. Although we still haven't met a majority of them. I would assume we're probably going to meet maybe 2-3 max in Fontaine and Natlan, because I would assume Shinezai is the last of the 7 nations we go to. And honestly, it would kind of make sense to me, though, if the bulk of the remaining Harbingers, at least meeting them in person, did happen in Shinezai, because that's where they're from. Because although we've heard mentions now in-game, at the very least, of Arlecchino, I know there was a small voice line in one of the Inazuma quests, and now Piero was briefly mentioned. In person, I believe the Traveler has only met, and we've obviously also heard about Capitano meeting Vargas' expedition. I do believe in person we've only had them meet Signora, Scaramouche, Tartaglia, and Dottore. I can't think of any other time that they've met, although I could be a bit hazy on that. Sorry, I kind of trailed off a little bit there, but I was trying to say, I'm just surprised that we didn't get any more closure on the situation between, the Shogun and Scaramouche. I know that there have been a ton of memes running around about it. It's pretty funny. I've enjoyed them, at least. But we kind of see that it wasn't quite as, a wholesome, I think, relationship, the whole Nahida is his new mother now relationship. Nahida openly admits that, she was planning to use him to some extent for her own means, but that if she didn't tell him and explain things, she would be no better than Dottore, which is true. But I don't know, I just kind of, when you consider now that Wanderer could be in a party with like A and Miko, you would think that there would have been a little bit more closure there, but I can also see how there doesn't really feel a need to be there. So, just interesting stuff. I think that about sums my thoughts up on the interlude, though. It wasn't... I genuinely can't say that I was particularly invested in it. I did enjoy it. I think that Genshin tends to do a very good job with their story quests, especially the Archon quests and interludes. But again, I just wasn't super invested in Scaramouche. I did do a soft pity on him because I think his gameplay looks pretty good. But I did lose 50. People always joke about Chi-Chi being the character that you lose 50-50 to. I have a Caesar, a Chi-Chi, and a C4 Gene, which is actually fine by me because I don't do like one-shot Mona builds. The character of the 5, well I guess 6 now, but of the 5 original soft pity characters that I use the most was actually Jean. She's the only one that's been in my party. No, well, that's not exactly true. Kuching was actually one of my first 5 stars, and I did use her for a while as well, but overall, I think in overall playtime, I actually have used Jean more. But that being said, I just thought we could hop into the... I was going to do this at the end because I don't know how long it's going to be, but I wanted to do the Genius Invocation TCG quest. I did accidentally start the very first bit because I tend to use the this Alchemist bench here, and I actually tend to collect my stuff here. It's just out of habit, in all honesty. I mean, it doesn't matter which nation you do, like, collect your daily commissions, do your dispatch and stuff. I've just always done it in Mondstadt. It's real close to the teleport waypoint. But it was just talking real quick about this new card game that's going around. Sucrose was there. And now we're going to the Cat's Tail, which I also think is really cool because it's always been here. We've always known, especially since like Diona's hangout event, we've known that this has been here, but we haven't actually been able to enter. So it's kind of cool to see older nations still continually being fleshed out a little bit. But here we go. And there are cats in the Cat's Tail. We've heard about this all the time.
Welcome to the Cat's Tail. Ah, it's the Traveler and Paimon. What a nice surprise. Oh, and Sucrose the Alchemist. It's been a while, hasn't it? I'm afraid I've already told you before. Fur from the Cat's Tail staff is not for sale, no matter how much more you offer.
Yeah, Sucrose and Albedo are constantly doing some interesting experiments. Have to wonder what they'd need specific cat hair for, but, you know.
We're not here for that research project I told you about last time. Sucrose, what kind of experiment were you trying
I'm not even sure I really want to know, frankly. Like,
I just wanted to test out some hypotheses, and I needed some materials. But, we can talk about that later. Actually, Margaret, we're here to learn more about Genius Invocation TCG.
I was still a little bit confused as to why. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's a bar, like a meeting place, but why exactly this would be the place we're going to find out about it?
More and more people have been gathering at the Cat's Tail to play, so I thought, why not have a dedicated staff to serve the new customers?
Okay.
Speaking of which, I believe you've already met.
Are they having Diona do that? Because...
You know Prince.
Oh, never mind. I know she hates brewing drinks, but she was like the selling point of this bar.
Customers would be quite a nice touch.
Allow me to interpret.
Oh, you speak cat now. Okay.
Prince says the word customer is much too loose of a term, and we should instead refer to anyone who loves dueling with cards as TCG players.
I am interested to see what kind of format they take with this. I mean, there's so many card games out there. Like, I played MTG, like Yu-Gi-Oh! In the past. There's Pokemon cards. There's also, like, what, Hearthstone, a few other formats. I'm just interested. I haven't seen anything on this. I've tried really hard not to spoil myself on Genshin stuff.
I haven't introduced you yet. This is Prince and Shuyan. They will be in charge of taking care of our TCG players.
I'm afraid I must correct you there, ma'am. Only Prince,
okay.
the strongest and most formidable TCG player of all, is capable of providing.
I mean, we have a number of, like, partial animal characters, like Sucrose, or Miko, or anyone like that, but... I don't know if we've ever seen, like, a full-on... Well, I guess we have the dragons.
But to rely on me to communicate with everyone. I am merely Prince's lowly assistant. That's
You know, I'm a bit of a deadbeat. I don't really do anything with my life. I cannot imagine how depressing your life would be if, I don't mean this to be mean, but if the sum of, like, your life achievements is to be the assistant to a cat in a bar. I feel like that sounds a little bit mean, but I just,
How can you use such such a
I don't know.
crude word as animal to describe the one and only prince. He is special and the only one of his kind. Such a
I do like cats though. Cats and dogs. My cat loves to claw my legs though, which is
Shuyan.
wonderful.
In the eyes of the common folk, I look no different than any other ordinary cat. It's a natural mistake to make, and you shouldn't overreact.
I think the funniest thing would be
I do apologize.
if this cat actually didn't mean any of this and this guy was just crazy.
He is capable of communicating with the cat. Could this be the result of some modification to the language center of his brain?
Seriously, how can he get all of that from a simple meow?
I don't know. And frankly, I'd love to play along, but that is
It
interesting.
was the duels of genius invocation TCG
I mean, the idea
that
of being
allowed
able to
our
understand
friends
animals
to
has been
bond.
around for a long time, though.
It's understandable that ordinary people such as yourselves are unable to comprehend such a thing.
So,
Oh.
playing Genius Invokation
Now we're getting uppity
TCG
about this.
fosters some sort of a telepathic link between players?
Huh.
Paimon doubts that.
Yeah. Me too, Paimon.
Anyway, if you'd like to know anything about Genius Invocation TCG, then please ask Shuyan, who will ask Prince.
I mean, at the end of the day, at least they have a translator for this amazing cat.
I'll let Prince play a game with you and walk you through all the rules.
We're actually doing this, huh?
Just as a seasoned warrior can foresee the path of his opponent's sword, so too can I, as a TCG master, predict my opponent's every play. It would be improper to pit
Why
a
do I
newcomer to the art
feel
of
like we're gonna
calm
get just
and
absolutely
myself.
decimated by this cat?
I must therefore politely decline.
Oh, okay.
That's what Prince said.
Oh, Prince doesn't want to play with us, huh?
Hmm.
Fine, then Prince doesn't have to. We'll play you instead.
Great.
I'm sorry, but from the day I
Oh my
met the mighty
gosh.
card master Prince, I swore an oath that my hands would live
Well-
solely to hold the cards and not to play them.
I mean, the cat doesn't have hands, so if you're
Never
holding the
play
cards for
another
them,
match of my own again.
and then you put them down on the table, you're still technically playing the cards. What a backstory. I genuinely love the fact that, like, the Traveler is becoming just the more and more we go through this game and this story, just done with everybody's crud. It's so funny.
If Prince is unwilling to play, then I guess we should look for an alternative.
Oh, there she is, yeah.
How about this?
And I get really excited when they add in more and more of the, like, playable characters to these story quests, because while I understand kind of why they don't do it, outside of, like, the teapot, you don't really run into most of your characters in the overworld. And when you do, it's only a small portion. Like, in most Hangout events, I wouldn't say you see more than, like, I think the most we've seen probably is, like, 3 or 4 characters, and usually not at the same time. There's a lot of times, too, where we have, like, events and stuff where you could honestly see more characters than you do. Not that we don't see a whole lot, like, I remember the Inazuma, like, art festival, we saw, like, what, Albedo, Klee, a bunch of the Inazuma characters. I do have to wonder if that's, like, a conscious decision, and, like, if it is just because you have to, like, pay voice actors, do all that stuff. I really don't know how that stuff works. But I have genuinely had that thought many times of, like, they could probably add more here, you know? But
Blah, blah,
that being
blah,
said, I
what is
really
it?
don't know the reason why.
Busy over here
And I think it
now.
works as is, too.
Why is it that every player that sets foot in here to play Genius Invocation TCG
It
has
is a
to
bar.
have a drink? Ugh. Don't they have any clue that the key to playing a game is the ability to think straight?
You should tell that to all the YouTubers and streamers that play games drunk and make a lot of content out of it. It's actually pretty fun.
What can I say? As the tavern owner, I can't help but feel happy to hear this. Anyway,
Yeah.
I see you've been working hard, so I thought you could use a break. So why not come over here and teach these customers the rules of Genius Invocation?
Yeah, what kind of break is that? I'd rather not.
Jeez.
Oh, why are we letting all these loafers come in here to play Genius Invocation TCG anyway? All it does is encourage more people to come to the bar for a drink.
Yeah, it's probably the point.
You know, if drink sales keep going up like this, pretty soon Mondstadt's alcohol industry is gonna reach new heights.
Oh no. A city famous for, like, dandelion wine and whatnot is gonna have a thriving economy.
Should be stamping out the spread of Genius Invocation TCG.
My dear, you are quite mistaken. You said it yourself, a clear mind
Oh,
is
okay.
necessary to win. Soon, their thirst for victory will overcome their thirst for alcohol.
I mean, just about every card game out there has a professional scene. Make a lot of money if you
Not only
win.
is the spread of Genius Invocation TCG no obstacle to
I had a
your
couple friends
destroying
who
Mondstadt's alcohol industry,
wanted
would
to get
even
into like
support
MTG
you in this
tournaments.
endeavor.
But it's hard.
Could it really?
A lot of time you have to put like super meta for stuff like
Sure,
that.
why not? All
I
right,
think that's
then.
the case for any
Our
pro
two
scene though.
customers are waiting to learn. Shuyan, let's put you on drink mixing duty for now.
But Shu Yan is destined for a far greater purpose.
Shuyan, drink mixing now.
Okay.
It'd be really funny if that actually was him putting words in the cat's mouth.
We'll need some space to learn. Let's go to that empty table over there.
Oh yeah, the conveniently single empty table in the middle of a busy bar. I do, genuinely though, as much as everyone loves to make fun of it, I really love game logic. It's so funny. If nothing for the irony.
Okay, let's go through the rules. First things first. You'll be needing
Do we have
a
one?
deck, so place that on the table.
Deck?
I think I saw something online about people needing like QR codes or something to get some of the cards. For now, we'll probably just use whatever it gives us. So.
Blank stares. Come on. Don't tell me you came to learn Genius Invocation TCG without bringing any cards.
Yeah, let's just blatantly lie. Actually, we do have some cards. They're not Genius Invocation TCG cards. We just pull out a few pieces of cardboard, but they are cards.
That's right. We have some cards that I received.
Oh,
from
right.
friends.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. You're gonna need a few
Yeah.
more cards than that.
What do you mean?
Okay.
I mean, I remember back in the day in like high school, we'd do
To learn the
2
game,
character
you'll
cards,
need
huh?
at least 2 character
I think I've
cards
heard
to
there's like
switch
18 or
between.
something like that. I don't know the exact number, but there was a decent amount, less than the playable roster, but a surprising amount for launch. But it just takes me back to like MTG days when none of us had money, so we'd take like some old land cards and we'd make proxy cards, so we just print out pictures of the card and slap them on there. It ruined the card, but it was still fun, and we'd use like old land cards and stuff.
Oh, that reminds me. A few days ago when I was closing up for the night, I noticed
Oh,
a
okay.
customer had left a couple of character cards on the bar counter.
So we just took them.
Maybe you could use those for now.
Are you sure that's okay?
It's already been a few days and he still hasn't come back to claim them. Who knows? Maybe he left them here on purpose.
That's an optimistic way of looking at it.
Yeah, I got them here with me. You know, just in case the customers are looking for them. Yeah, not because I like to play the game or anything. Please. All right.
Good
so
old
now
Diana.
we have 2 character cards. That's
So you only
everything
need 2,
we
huh?
right? Yep. So, are you ready to start? All right.
Why not?
Then let's begin.
So character cards and attack types. Okay, so we ended up with D-Luke and Kaya. I can't say that's surprising. Knight of Favonius and, to the public eye, a normal Knight of Favonius, but the quote-unquote like Dark Knight hero.
Simply put, this is a game where you control character cards to duke it out with your opponent.
There only were 2 more than one of these guys. I know it's the card-based system, but like, one of these guys could take out like 30 of these without
Once
breaking a
you've
sweat.
defeated all of your opponent's character cards, victory shall be yours. Now then, you're gonna need a character on the field to start with.
Okay. Interesting. So yeah, just the basic attack. And it's cool that they use the names and stuff for that. That makes sense. I wonder if they only use like the basic attack, E and ult, or if they do actually tie in like talents and whatnot. That'd be pretty interesting.
Let's go.
But things like card games, of course, there's only so many things you can do translating from one format of a game to another.
First, we roll 8 elemental dice at
Oh,
the start
okay.
of every round. These dice correspond to elemental energy. We'll be spending these dice to perform actions.
I'd have to assume this is probably a scripted roll, right? Alright.
Once the roll phase is over, you'll enter the action phase, where the real game
Interesting.
starts.
What's this symbol?
During the action phase, you can spend elemental dice to perform various actions. Of course, the most common action is to use character skills.
Okay. So it takes... Oh, I see. Okay. So I'd assume this is... I didn't see how many symbols there were on the dice. But this is obviously something else. But it's probably like 4 pyro, 3 pyro, 1 pyro. I wonder if that's either that or any type of dice. Yeah, 3 pyro dice. Spent by default. That makes sense. No reason to have you click every single one as you go. So I wonder if you reroll dice after the depleted or as you go.
You just made your first attack.
That's probably me overthinking though, because they're probably about to explain
During
it.
the action phase, both sides will take turns making their moves. After you use a skill to attack your opponent, it's their turn to attack.
Okay.
And as you can see,
So this is just
once
life
the
points
enemy
then?
finishes their move, it's our turn again.
So if you do just kind of go down the line of whatever character is active, that actually reminds me a bit more of Pokemon than MTG. In that, like, at least with the way I played it, I don't know if the rules changed over time. You would basically have like your bench of Pokemon that you could then put forward if your active one went down. But, and I'm also sure a ton of other stuff's been added. When I first played the Pokemon card game, it was with my big brother. And that was literally when like Hoenn was out. I haven't played it. I've been meaning to try out maybe Scarlet and Violet or something. It could be a fun game to stream. And I've heard really high ratings about it. I've actually heard it's changed from like the old format to like an almost live action thing too, which is interesting. Because the last one I played was like Gen 6, but anyways. Alright, so this... Okay, so these are Omni dice. Interesting.
Now, these are Omni-Element dice. They can be spent on any move regardless of the elemental type. So, we're gonna use them to pay for the pyro dice needed for this skill.
I feel like with there being 7 elements plus an Omni dice and potentially plus another one, whatever that is, you could really get stuck in RNG. Which, knowing me, will happen.
That was pretty good. That's one opponent down for the count. Bam!
She seems very into this.
But the game has
It'd be fun,
only
though.
just begun.
Yeah.
Remember?
It'd be fun if they kind of added
To be
this
all
as a continuing thing, if they are trying to make it a permanent, like, weekly... It's part of the weekly pass now, you know? If they tried to add it and, like, let you go from nation to nation and meet more characters that also play the game as you, like, you know, extend things out. Because, like, what's some other characters you would think play? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know, like, some of, like, the more... I know, like, ages aren't really confirmed, but, like, the younger characters in each of the nations played, like, I don't know, like, the Hu Tao Chongyun and Jingcho group, or maybe, like, I would expect Ito would probably play something like this. Maybe Shinobu gets roped along, like, just an interesting thought. I mean, I could even see, like, Nahida getting into it, some of the less serious scholars at the Academia. Which, now that I think about it, we never did get a whole lot of explanation on just who Farzan is.
Run out of usable dice. In that case, let's add
What I'm
this
confused
round.
about, too, is his skill said something about using his E 3 times in a round. If this is the end of the round and you only have 8 dice, unless it goes up with turn, how would you use his elemental skill
After
3
you end
times?
round, you won't be able to do anything else this round.
Yeah, that does make
And once
sense.
everyone chooses end,
I didn't mean to skip that. I was curious what this symbol is. Okay, it's intent.
all right.
Oh,
here
these
we are,
two stayed.
A fresh new round. Woohoo! And a fresh new round means time to roll the dice again. That's how we're gonna get the elemental energy we need, after all.
Alrighty. Oh, look at all that Geo.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
some terrible luck. Well, there's no way we'll be able to.
Oh,
use
there is a
this
reroll
now.
option. Okay.
But don't worry, situations like these are why we have the option to reroll.
Although I will say I am pretty sure that this is probably scripted.
Once per round, you can select all the dice.
So statement still stands. You could probably end up in real bad RNG. Okay, so you get 1 reroll, looks like. I would assume per turn.
When the action phase begins, the player who first chose end round in the previous round
Oh.
takes their turn first.
Okay, that's different than most other card games, so it actually benefits you playing fast.
This means that since you finished first the last round, you'll be the first to start this round. Alrighty then, let's learn a little bit about energy and elemental bursts.
Oh, maybe this is... Oh, okay, so what I was confused about...
Your character will
Yeah.
gain 1 energy.
Oh, that's what that symbol was in the bottom right for the burst. That makes a lot more sense, because I was confused about this, because I assumed that just because D-Luke's skill specifically said it when you use this 3 times in a round, it does something extra. I assumed that's what this is ticking on, and then they didn't go away. That has to be the energy for the burst. And that means that there probably are only 8 symbols on the dice, I would assume. The Omni dice plus the 7 elements, because that last symbol that we didn't know what it was would be the energy.
Once D-Luke's energy is full, he can use a powerful elemental burst. But we're still 1 short.
I still wonder, do people think it's strange that certain people are on these cards? Like, I don't know who all are on the cards, but it's like, Hilly Churros makes sense. I guess Knights and former Knights make sense, but still.
Never mind. Let's start with the normal attack instead.
Okay.
D-Luke's normal attack only needs 1 pyro
Okay, so that is
die
any
and
type of
2 other
dice.
dice of any type. In any case, your normal attack needs fewer pyro dice than your elemental skill.
That also gives you a little bit of leeway, again, with RNG. Because that is one thing that I was really worried about when they showed the dice, is I just feel like even with the reroll ability and stuff, sometimes RNG just kills you in any game. But that does also give you a bit of a buffer there. Does the skill count for it? It does, okay.
Now we have 3 energy plus. We have enough pyro elemental dice left over. It's time to use your powerful elemental burst.
Yeah. Alright. Deals 8 pyro damage, gains infused, so it's just gonna kill the... I can never remember what these are called. I don't remember their Meta Churros or whatnot. Frankly, as always, I'm just terrible with names. This hashes the physical damage converted to pyro damage. I wonder what that does in this... I know what it does in the game, but in this essence, you know? Miniaturized Dice Shaker. They really do like to give you achievements for a lot of stuff, which is nice, honestly. Really helpful. May only be like 5 primos here and there, but helps you save up. So we have another round.
In an actual game of Genius Invocation TCG, you need to use multiple character cards to form a party. Next up, it's time for your second character card, Kaya, to take the stage.
Oh, wonderful. We drew 1 cryo dice.
Seems like a move by Kaya is going to cost quite a lot of cryo dice.
So I was under the impression we chose an active character. I wonder if that's just the character that is actively, like, taking damage first. Like, if I drew a bunch of cryo and pyro dice, could I use both of theirs to try and use up all the dice? Or is it just whatever characters? Huh. Oh, okay. I was more just curious. So it looks like you can probably swap out the active character in that way, but it costs 1 of any dice. That makes sense too, but still, that also allows you to make use of bad dice rolls.
When you deal cryo damage, you'll cause your target to be affected by cryo.
Cool it.
And you would assume maybe if you swapped between like D-Luke and Kaya, you could make elemental reactions in that way. Which does make it important that the character cards available to you are widespread of elements.
This is a good time to learn about elemental reactions. Different types of elemental damage affect enemies with different elements. When a character is affected by certain elemental combos, an elemental reaction will be triggered.
Okay.
At the moment, your opponent is affected by cryo, so
And
we
there
should
it
try
is.
and use a pyro skill on them. Looks like we have to switch active characters, though. Oh, that reminds me. Both sides must have 1 active character, while others are considered standby characters.
Okay. I wonder how many characters you can have. I mean, looking at the board, it looks like you could probably fit like 8. But that doesn't mean they'll let you have, you know, 8 active characters.
We can only use the active character skills. Now, if we want to use the skills of our standby character, we'll have to switch them to the active character. In this case, we'll have to switch to D-Luke in order to use his skills.
Ooh, sorry, I had to cough.
You can spend one.
Yep.
Let's
I
finish
figured.
this swiftly.
Switching characters is an action, just like using a skill.
Hmm.
So once it's done, it's your opponent's turn.
So what I'm confused about too is Sucrose said she had a few cards. What cards did she have?
Most skills can only target the active character.
Because from what I'm seeing, we only need 2 cards. They were saying she had a few, and then Diona said that's not enough. Unless they're considering like these skills, attacks, and bursts as like other cards, but even then, how would you use like the character card? I think I'm just thinking about the semantics too much. I actually do really like this though. I think it's a lot of fun.
The opponent is already affected by cryo. Dealing pyro damage triggers the melt elemental reaction. When triggered, melt increases damage dealt by 2. This will allow you to deal loads of damage in one go.
I wonder if it's unique to every
Genius Invocation's
elemental reaction type.
Is pretty cool, huh?
This is another thing though that it kind of makes sense that they waited to introduce something like that. I don't know how long this has been in the works, but until Dendro had really been released. The release of Dendro really did open up a lot of things. Oh, okay. There's the other cards.
Next up, let's learn how to use
See,
card types
every time I
and
question something like this in
character
games, it immediately gets answered. I'm like, I didn't even need to vocalize that.
cards. These cards are all known as action cards.
Wonderful. You can use a catalyst, use a bow, use a... I think that's a great sword, a spear, or you can throw Paimon at them. Frankly, that might be the scariest one.
Each time a match starts, you have to draw 5 action cards to form your starting hand.
Okay. So I'd assume these also use dice.
Uh-oh. Looks like we don't have any elemental dice we can spend to make an attack.
Do we really have to go over the reroll thing every single time? I think it's important to drive home mechanics like that, but there also comes a point where it's kind of like, I don't know if I needed to be told that a 3rd time.
Seriously? We still don't have any usable dice even after that reroll?
Oh, this is the point that they're trying to drive home. Fair enough.
Well, never mind. Even in cases like this, we can still attack.
I wonder what the difference is
We
between
just
the
need
white
to
and the
put
black one, because
action
this was the
cards
any
on
color card
good
one.
use. Don't underestimate action cards. They can grant all kinds of support and buffs to your active character. Take this one, for example. So playing this action card will require 2 of these. See this?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just of the same
That
type.
means you'll need to play elemental dice of the same type.
Only Claymore character. You mean to tell me that I can't have, like, I don't know, Lisa running around with the Claymore, or D-Luke turn into a mage? Come on, man. So honestly, though, some of those swaps, like, you see people do, like, those edits where they'll have, I don't know if it's a mod or what they do, but they'll have, like, different characters use different elemental bursts. I know when Nilo came out, I saw one with every single character using her burst animation. It is pretty hysterical to watch.
Some other cards will cost you these instead. The cost requirements for these are much more lenient.
Well, if it's
You
just
can spend
2,
any
you would
kind of
assume there's
elemental dice.
different costs. Not that bad.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there, though. For now, just play this action card.
Okay. You're the boss, Diona.
So, playing an action card from your hand is a form
Oh,
of
okay.
fast action. Fast actions do not end your current turn. Simply put, you could continue to act even after playing an action card. Well then, you have your blade. Time to test it out.
So if we had just equipped a greatsword to D-Luke, what was he just bludgeoning them with his bare fist before?
But wait,
Jeez.
Delu's elemental skill costs 3 pyro dice, and right now
I would assume
we
that's
don't
what this
even have
is.
1. Well, not a problem. This is where we can use a more advanced mechanic known as
Oh, okay.
elemental tuning. By discarding 1 card from your hand, you can convert 1 elemental
Oh,
die into
okay.
the element
Then
of
that's
your
not what this
current
is.
active character.
Are we just gonna chuck the Paimon card away for the memes? That'd be pretty funny.
This card isn't useful right now, so we might as well use it for elemental tuning.
Oh, okay. It does make sense because, you know, Kaya doesn't use any of these weapons, but can you imagine how funny it'd be if you just chuck it? Convert the elemental dice spent to Omni Element. Oh, okay, but that is a conversion card. That's interesting. Okay.
Sometimes you won't be able to
It really
perform
does
the
seem like they
actions
thought
you
out
want to because
the whole
putting all
RNG
the
being an
elemental
issue
dice
aspect,
you
though. I
want.
really like that.
Oh well. Moving on. Ingenious Invocation TCG. Keeping
I
up
do
with
wonder if they're doing
classical
PvP
combat
with
is
this,
much more important than
just
the
because
number of cards
PvP
you
in
have.
Genshin's always a little bit weird. I've never been big on it.
In this case, well,
I've helped
let's
a
just
couple
take
friends
all
out with like their
these useless
storyline and
cards
quests and
use them
stuff,
for
but
elemental tuning.
like doing domains and stuff as a group, I've never been super big on because I think most of the time it's just easier to do it by yourself.
Just like playing cards from your hand, elemental tuning is a fast action.
Hmm.
Come on, hurry up! Use elemental tuning to get yourself 3 pyro dice.
Okay.
Well, would you look at that? Finally, we now have enough elemental dice to use Searing Onslaught.
Wonderful.
Because you have the White Iron Greatsword equipped, Searing Onslaught will deal 1 extra damage.
It really does make me wonder though, like, have they added the 4 and 5 star weapons and stuff? I mean, the potential for this game is theoretically, you know, as high as however many characters there are in the game, plus any notable NPCs. Like, they could add, like, say, a Dottore card. I genuinely would be surprised. And back to that thought, sorry, I didn't mention it back then, but different things just, my mind jumps tracks all the time. When I was saying this whole theory of, like, maybe I did mention it. Like, the potentially playable Harbingers likely being the ones that could ally themselves with us at some point. You would assume the Tsaritsa would be a playable character at some point, so that all 7 Archons were, and that alone might be technically along that line of reasoning. Like I was saying, that's just one of the theories that I do actually think holds a lot of weight, that's been around for a long time, but theories are disproved all the time. Oh my gosh.
In a real match, you can make adjustments to your initial hand.
Yeah, they're adding more Signora and stuff. Like, I just think it's funny that, I mean, Signora's quote-unquote, you know, it was a death. Really set the precedent for the Harbingers not exactly, and prominent characters not ending up being playable, even if they have a unique design. But it would be really funny if they just did a bait and switch and eventually pulled something down the line and she got to be playable. I didn't mind Signora. I mean, it's just the same logic, and I think I'm going to have the issue with all the Harbingers to some extent for this, but, like, again, what happened in a lot of these, like, the past of the Harbingers that we know of was horrible. It was horrifying. But it doesn't mean that they can go around mass murdering people at the whims of the Fatui and the Tsaritsa, you know? That being said, though, I think the designs of all the Fatui are really cool. I still really like Arlecchino's design.
At this time, we can select any number of cards in our hand to shuffle back into the draw pile, and then draw the same number of new cards. What?
I mean, at this point, I have to wonder what the original deck size is, because it seems like they're giving us so many opportunities, though, that on one point you want to minimize RNG, because that makes it less enjoyable, I think, to some extent. But if you have, like, a dice system or a card drawing system, if you completely eliminate RNG, you know, that also kind of changes things. Yes, the Sweet Madame is food for healing. That makes sense. Another healing card. Okay. More conversion cards.
Once you have confirmed any adjustments you wish to make to your starting hand, both players have to select their starting active character at the same time.
Okay.
Oh boy. This one's
That's one thing that would be really
really
hard to do if they tried to make this into an IRL game. Because at the end, if they do add, I don't know if there's a PvP system. I personally, even if there was, would probably just do PvE. Because I personally enjoy that kind of system. But, like, for example, if you choose before your opponent in a PvP online type state, yeah, just activate them at the same time. The one other thing that kind of makes me wonder about that, though, is there is latency, and she said something about, like, it was something like the person that gets to go first is the one who ended their turn first. That is something that could potentially be really difficult with, again, potential latency.
Let's see how you do this.
Who knows,
time.
though?
Remember, start by selecting your initial starting character.
Okay.
Let's finish this swiftly.
I wonder if it mattered at all. So you'd assume you just ideally want to get as many dice of your chosen type. That's the Omni one, yeah. But they really do give you a lot of chances. I quite like that, though. So. Oh.
Look at you!
Okay.
You sure are getting the hang of these rolls. Now let me teach you one last trick. Free of charge.
Were you charging us this entire time?
You can read
Jeez.
your opponent's actions. I mean, that is
Yeah,
to
it's this
say,
button right
you
here.
can read their intent.
My lack of ability to focus on any one thing, Diona, has already made me check what this button does.
Check it out. So here's where you can see all your opponent's intentions for this round. All your opponent's intended actions for the round will be listed here in order.
Okay.
Reference this to come up with effective countermeasures and easily defeat your opponents.
This is something that, like, Slay the Spire does, though. Although it's... No, that is actually a card-based game, huh? That makes it a lot easier, in my opinion. Is the ability to see your opponent's intents.
Well then, that's the end of the tutorial. You're on your own from here. May victory be yours.
Okay, let's see what these cards do. Uses a skill or equips a talent. Spendless 1 cryo die once per round. This is an artifact equipment card. I mean, that would only theoretically be useful for, like, the normal attacks that don't require a specific type of die. So we probably won't use that. These were the convert the dice to the Omni element. I actually doubt that'll be that well, I'd assume it just you use it and you get to use any 2 dice. So, like, what's this though, real quick? Spend less 1 less power die. Okay, I kind of do this setup because why not? Oh, oops. Yeah, sure. Looks like it does try to auto select like the most optimal dice, so it's not really selecting. Oh wait, yeah, 2 same element. So it does kind of try to steer away from the ones you would be using. So here in this case, though, there's not really a reason to use the Paimon dice, I don't think, because we won't need it. Although, actually, hold on. Could I do this? Convert these 2, right? Into Omni dice. And then do this twice? If I'm understanding correctly. Oh, okay. So this only applies... I didn't see the once per round. Never mind then. I thought I was being a little bit big brain. I was not. Alright, where was the button to... Yeah, end the round. It still says start first, though. I can't imagine how exactly that applies.
Wait. There's one more thing I almost forgot. Every time you hit an end phase, you get to draw 2 cards from your action cards pile. Remember, you have to make use of both your elemental dice and your action cards to win.
I did just waste one of my action cards, Diona, because I'm stupid. Yeah, this had... I already figured this was scripted, but like seeing that you took 2 damage and then giving you 2 more is kind of funny. But it does make you wonder, again, how many cards you can have on the board. Or how that system works, because they said you need at least 2, but that doesn't mean you can only have 2 on the board, you know? So, I mean, in all honesty, we could probably just brute force it. No reason not to just heal. Oh, okay. No valid... Alright, you can only eat once per turn. So what we'll probably do is just do this. I didn't even really worry about checking the intent, I suppose. It looks like at least at the start they only do 1 attack per turn, which also makes sense. Here we go. I was just seeing if we could do anything with Kaya beyond that. Nah, it's pretty much just do another normal attack. Okay. Oh, but this time it showed as, okay, they get first action because they didn't go for a second action and we did. That also makes a lot of sense. In all honesty, though, I don't really see a reason to switch active character this early on. I'm sure later on that becomes a bit more of a valid tactic, but for this tutorial it doesn't seem like there's enough of a threat. You would assume, like, as a character gets low, you'd probably want to switch him out or something, but... for right now. And I'm by no means one of the people that can immediately figure out, like, super important strategy. My plan is usually brute force. Interesting. That is actually really cool. I like the idea and concept behind that. Tightly paced, heart-stopping tabletop game, dueling game, except for the part where you literally could take as long as you wanted to take your turn. Utilize your decks by constructing them, so it looks like you probably do construct dice, 8 elemental dice, any of the so it is 8 elements, the 7 core elements, and then Omni. Yeah. Use skills of active character. This is just kind of reiterating everything. Yeah, 1 elemental die to switch. Action cards. Elemental tuning was dragging the card over to switch a dice. Knowing that you get 2 per turn though, unless you have a really useless action card, I wonder how often that's worth it. You could obviously use it to create a good timing for yourself, but at the same time, if you're getting rid of your hand economy, I know that's actually not good in a lot of games.
Alright, cool. Those are the basics. Did you get all that?
I actually think they did a good job of like concisely explaining it though.
Especially for new players. Genius Invocation TCG can be played in duel mode, where each player brings
3 cards.
3 character cards, or in adventure challenge mode, with a fixed deck for each challenge. But the rules are all the same. As long as you understand the basics, then you should be able to take on any of those rowdy booze hounds.
She talks about booze hounds, but I never realized her vision was on like her mixer.
To grasp. I think I understand the basic premise of the game now.
I really wonder if one day...
Detailed explanation.
Oh, hi D-Luke.
I didn't know the Cat's Tail's famous mixologist had such an eclectic skill set.
You probably don't want to patronize her though, because she already hates you for just being involved with the wine industry, D-Luke. Don't mean to like kick you while you've been down for like a while, but you know. But what I was going to say though is I really wonder, now that we've seen, I think, what was her name? Was it Rana? The character that got the Dendro vision during the R&R quest line. And now we've technically seen Wanderer receive a vision. I think it'd be a cool past thing to see, like, I know it's been explained a lot, like I read online, I don't know if it's shown in game, but like Hu Tao's story about how she traveled to the other world to see, I think it was her grandpa, and when she returned home from that trip, it was the place that we had visited during her character quest actually. She came back and found her vision in her bag. But I think it'd be really cool to see that like animated in game, stuff like that. Because so many of these characters, I don't know if every single character has a direct explanation. Like I said, I just peruse wikis and stuff in my free time sometimes. But those are some things that in like the manga format that they do, if they ever bring back another one or anything like that, could be really cool to see.
What? Oh, when did you get here?
I stepped in while you were in the middle of your explanation. I hope I didn't dampen the mood.
I don't want to be mean to D-Luke. There's some characters that I feel significantly less bad about being mean to than others.
Without making a sound. Anyway, what are you doing here?
The Cat's Tail is a player in Mondstadt's alcohol industry. Naturally, you have some collaboration with my winery.
No, he's trying to
Today
relate to her,
discuss
but
a few items of business with Margaret.
it's gonna make her more mad.
But if you head off right now, you might still catch up with her.
Never mind, it's nothing urgent. In fact, I think
Does he
I'm
know
now
that there's a
more
card of
interested
himself in this
this
game?
card that you're using to teach them the game.
Wait, this
Yeah, I was gonna say.
it's D-Luke's character card.
I mean, even if they
Although
don't
I have
know
some degree of experience
he's like the
with Genius
Dark Knight hero, he
TCG,
was a former knight.
seeing this particular card
Isn't
is
he like the youngest
a
cavalry
first for
captain
me.
ever too?
A customer left it behind a few days ago, but he wasn't even playing the game while he was here.
I really do wonder if these are actually her cards or if they were actually left by someone.
And what sort of a customer was he?
He wasn't wearing an eye
Oh,
patch, okay?
okay, never mind. It's probably Kaya.
Light complexion and a super serious look on his face. He wasn't much of a talker and looked like he was just drinking his worries away.
Isn't it Rosaria that says that like he speaks a little bit more truthfully when he's drunk?
Eye
Yeah.
patch, you say?
Kind of funny that he showed up a card with him and D-Luke on it.
Gah, I was trying to give the opposite description.
Yeah.
I just ended up giving it away. Sorry, guard captain.
Don't worry. Somehow, I don't think he'll be giving you any trouble over it.
So, what about
Jeez.
the D-Luke character card?
I don't mind. It's just a card with my image on it.
I didn't expect Diluc to
I
be
don't know.
familiar with Genius
Part of the
Invocation
reason I have a
TCG.
VTuber model is because I
The
don't think
game
I'd want
has
my
been
face
catching
out
on
there.
lately. It's hard to go anywhere
I mean,
without
I'm still a
hearing
very
mention.
small channel, and
Every now and then,
I don't-
sit down and play a game.
not to be
with
negative, but
customers
like
and
I'm
Angel
more just
share.
doing this for fun. I don't really expect it to go anywhere. But like if I ever got really big, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with like my actual face on things. Maybe that's just me though.
I was hoping we could play a game.
Like there was a
This
long time I still would like to
shows
become a
unique
singer one
character
day,
card with my
like
image and a
professionally.
cat's tail is
But it's difficult.
very intriguing.
It really is. Such a small
It's
percentage
getting
are able to
late.
make that kind of stuff work. But
Someone has some explaining to
still.
do. We'll have to have that duel another time.
jeez. And here we go, giving him more of a reason to not get along with his
Good.
brother.
Then I'll take my leave.
You know where the door is. Don't let the door.
Oh my
be down when
gosh.
Lord Barbados split you. Uh-oh. Guard captain.
Oh, did he actually?
I hope Kaya will be alright.
Oh, never mind. Just saying that. Yeah, he'll be fine.
Well,
Those two are so passive aggressive with each other to begin
why
with.
don't we
It's
try playing a game of Genius
practically their
Invocation
natural
TCG?
state.
Ooh, two new players having their first ever duel. This sounds like fun. But in order to play an official duel, you need to have 3 character cards. Remember, a complete
Thought you
deck
said the
has
rules are
to have
pretty much the
3
same, though. We
character
just played
cards
with 2.
and 30 action cards.
Oh, okay.
Got it?
Then, let's use my cards. These were mixed in with all the others I had received.
Oh, there's a Sucrose
I
card.
didn't know what they were for at first.
Hmm.
But now that we've learned the rules, I can see that this one must be the Sucrose character card. Now, it looks like we each have the Kaya, Diluc,
Oh,
and
okay.
Sucrose character cards. So why don't we have our first duel?
So it'll just be. Hold on a minute. I'll be right back. So it's just a mirror
Alright.
match.
Let's duel.
Sucrose is one of the characters that if I thought it was an option, I'd probably just let her win. But I get the feeling we're supposed to win, you know? Just a thought. Anyway. Only playable if one of your characters is defeated this round. I'm going to switch that out because that shouldn't be an early game thing. Hey, look, it's Miko. I won't even lie. I really like Miko. I guess that's obvious from like my menu card and stuff, but still. Shift 1, that's I actually don't think that'll be super helpful though, sorry. Shift 1 weapon equipment. I mean, we didn't start with any weapon equipment. That could be helpful. Go to Kokomi. Action phase begins. Create 2 Omni elements. But it costs 3. I'll keep that in my hand because I'm curious to see how that works.
Unlike the adventure challenge you tried previously, duels are true tests of strength between 2 players. In a duel, your opponent can also use action cards, and they'll also be able to grab new cards during an end phase. At the same time,
Okay.
your opponent must also spend elemental dice to take actions, so you'll be unable to view their intent.
That does make sense.
Are you ready? It's time for some exhilarating fights to the bitter end. Musa!
Alright, select active character. I mean, I really don't know if it matters if we choose at the same time when they have the same cards. Granted, you would assume her active character will probably be Sucrose. Let's just keep going with Diluc. Why
Let's
not?
finish this.
Yeah, it is Sucrose. Honestly, though, as a roguelike player, I would just not be... I'm never surprised when you lose, like, a tutorial. We're still gonna have to eventually get back and finish, like, our Inscription playthrough. I feel like we're making pretty good pace. I don't know how long that game is, but we got dumpstered. Like, our first few runs there. Alright, then. So what do we have again? What was this one? Thunder Summoner's Crown. Oh, okay. It's cool that they're tying in some other things. Like, that's the headpiece from... I can't remember what the set's called, but it's like the electro damage bonus 2-piece set. When a character uses a skill or equips a talent, so like that I could use for converting a dice. We would ideally probably use this on Diluc. The question is, like, I really don't know if it matters with the number of dice you get, because I was gonna say maybe I use like double cryo because I probably won't switch to Kaya this turn. But you would also assume if it's recommending you do something, you probably should, you know, do that. Oh, I guess we'll be using those two. So in that case, actually, no, it wouldn't have mattered. And then we'll just go ahead and hit Sucrose, apparently. So she's that. What? You switch to D-Luke? So again, draw 2 cards. I actually will just use this. I wonder if there's a hand limit. Okay, so it looks like the crown probably just have to do with the dice. Because it's the same thing, yeah. Not that Dendro or Electro are particularly helpful to us right now. Shift 1 energy from at most 2 of your characters on standby. Okay. I feel like one trap I'll probably fall into. And again, I'm sure people will already have figured out like what the optimal strategy is and stuff. One thing I'll probably fall into is not using like the switch character actively. I mean, optimally. Because a lot of times I just get lazy and don't. On stuff like this, at least. 3 Omni Dice, that's pretty nice. That's not bad. That's not bad. Every dice except 1 was usable with our current cast. And we can just use that to switch over to Kaya here in a sec. Alright, what do we draw? Shift the energy. The next time you use the skill, switch your next character. Okay, I could just use that, I guess. Wait. But is spending a dice do the same thing? Oh, that's really cute, actually. Also a little bit dark, though, when you realize that she kind of throws that thing at enemies and it blows up and she's sewing back together, but... Good old Amber. I wish that Amber was, you know, it's another thing that's been around for a long time, but I wish Amber was, like, manga accurate, because it'd be pretty cool to see Amber actually be useful. The Shenhe card. I really can't see a reason to use any of those right now. Yeah, it does seem like one of the primary reasons is not only juggling to use skills, but juggling to maintain damage. Yeah, anytime it looks like you can use 2 different elements in one turn is also pretty helpful. Hey, it's Utao. Yeah, I really do think I heard somewhere. I could look it up here in a sec, but I'm focused on this right now. I think I heard somewhere it was around like 18 character cards, but I could not tell you if that was actually true or if I'm just crazy. Because in all honesty, sometimes I think I'm just insane. Well, not insane, but just dumb. Alright. Why does it put them in your... I was about to say, why did it put these here and here? It doesn't even seem like it's sorted by cost. Choose one summon on the opposing side and destroy... I mean... I don't know if we've seen a summon per se. I can't imagine that literally is a character card. That'd be pretty busted. Who your active character? Sure. Oh, it's at the end. Okay. Well, probably just do a basic attack, maybe? Yeah. Down goes D-Luke.
Darn. I didn't factor that into the equation.
Now, I was about to say, I was just going to use Kaya's elemental skill here. Kaya might go down. But at the end of the day, I'm not looking for a perfect victory or anything like that unless it's a requirement for like an adventure challenge. We're just trying to make sure we win. And I would assume this is also a semi-scripted fight to some extent. Genshin is one of the games that probably doesn't want you to lose. We could keep the animal dice and maybe switch over to Sucrose. It's not a great roll. Anyway. Oh! I didn't think that'd do that much damage, honestly. Well, in that case, we don't need to play this card. He's not coming back. I guess we could... Oh,
let's finish.
Right.
Okay. One character card defeated.
Maybe I should have put Sucrose in with that. Ah, it's fine. I was just gonna play this. Use oh, is it just that? Yeah, that works. Actually, maybe that wasn't the... Oops. Hold on. Choose one summon unless this counts as a summon as well. I'm just curious. No valid targets, okay. Okay, well, I didn't have energy to shift. Okay. Probably shift active character. Use the Geodice.
I can do it.
Doesn't really matter what she do. What she does. She's gonna just decimate Kaya, but
I'm not done.
okay.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
When it showed that little like statement underneath the name Sucrose too, I wonder if there's multiple forms of each character. I kind of doubt that though, because that'd be the type of thing you'd assume they'd do after they've kind of, oops, added in like every character that is to be added. And I would have a really hard time imagining that they've already added every single character in the game. I guess I don't need Cryo anymore because Kaya's down. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a revive mechanic in here, but I also wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't.
Stand clear.
Yeah, Stephen. Oh, it force switched me over to D-loop. That's interesting. Well, I was going to do that anyway, so...
Time for retribution.
Huh. The fact that I can do 9 damage with the reaction is crazy. Because it seems like every character card only has 10 HP. I also do wonder if I just passed, if I could have let Sucrose win, or if it would have made you just retry.
I can't believe I lost when we had the exact same character cards.
Yeah, that's fine.
The rules
I'm
must
sure
be
if you
more
probably weren't
complicated
scripted to
than I
go
first
easy on
thought.
us, Sucrose would probably wipe the floor with us.
Decision is a difficult
Same with
trade-off
Albedo,
in this
actually.
game. If there was only a way to transplant the arms of the 2 standby characters
Oh my
onto
gosh.
the active character's body.
We're not trying to create Frankenstein here.
Sucrose. Don't be a sore loser. That kind of thing is looked down on in TCG circles.
Oh, I am sorry.
Eh.
I was beaten fair and square. I know that. I just can't stand losing. But it was a fun match.
That statement reminds me of the Among Us collab with Sucrose's voice actor, actually. I do think you went easy on us.
You could get so competitive, Sucrose.
I always get a little upset when I lose. It's like that with my research.
I think that's
too.
natural to some extent.
It always gets to me when
I don't get as
experiments
tilted
don't
as
go
I used to
planned.
when I was younger, when I
Especially when
lose
there's
games,
an
but still.
alchemy genius like Albedo around to compare myself to.
You lost me at alchemy and experiments.
Hmm.
But I'm pretty sure it's normal to feel that way. Playing cards is no different. Each game you lose makes you want to win the next one to settle the score. And the desire to win pushes you to improve your strategy and build a better deck. Seizing victory through a winning combination of luck, skill, and experience is where all the fun of Genius Invocation lies.
But what if you keep trying and never win a single game?
Well, we call that
A
life.
losing streak, yeah.
Don't know what else to
That
tell you.
definitely gets you down. But it's way better to keep trying until you win than to just accept you're a plain old loser and give up.
You make a good point, Diona.
Besides, Sucrose, you're already making great progress. It'd take at least 8 of our regular booze hounds to match your level. You played well this last match.
Thank you. I'm just a little disappointed to lose, that's all. But Genius Invocation TCG is a really fun game.
I actually really like it from what
Having
we've seen
fun
so
is
far.
the main thing. If you ever want to play again in the future, feel free to come by the Gatsdale. But don't expect me to play with you. I just mean, this place probably has the right atmosphere.
I'll definitely be back.
Alright, I think you should have all the basics down by now. I need to get back to bartending. Shian's likely been busy making his tavern more popular with his delicious
okay.
cocktails. Pui, pui, pui. And we can't have that.
Oh, so you're gonna go make ones that you're trying to make bad but end up
Putting
being really
Monsters
good.
wine industry to the ground keeps me pretty busy, you know. So if you need any more help, go bother Shian.
The literal like cat butler that won't. Okay, I want to say the one that won't. I'll never play another round of Genius Invocation TCG again. I only hold the cards for the cat.
I see. So you have now grasped the rules of Genius Invocation TCG.
That's right. The Traveler, Sucrose, and Paimon are TCG players now.
Honestly, though, if I could have a job that paid a decent amount a year, and all I had to do was look after a cat and hold like cards for them and translate them, if I was capable of that, I'd do it. I have no shame.
Paimon picked it up from watching you and Sucrose.
Becoming a TCG player is not as simple as that. You cannot call yourselves true TCG players until you have passed.
You didn't want to teach us to play with us earlier, cat.
Sobering words from Prince there. But I'm afraid he's right. To become official players recognized by the Genius Invocation TCG Society, you have to pass the test.
Wouldn't that be a dark twist? Yeah, so we actually seal everyone within this, including the dude who just showed by and talked to us about the card within him. You just can't tell yet.
Yes, although to be honest, it's not that difficult. Basically, to become an official and recognized TCG player, you have to best 3 opponents in a duel.
Wonderful, we're already one up on you, Sucrose.
You have to win 3 duels against 3 different opponents?
The duel you just played can count towards this tally. I agree.
No.
Although I didn't get to observe.
Really
the
just
match
rubbing it in
myself,
Sucrose's
I
face,
did
huh?
listen along, and from what I could hear, you both performed at a rather high level.
Same way you can hear what Prince says.
A well-trained ear is a basic skill expected of anyone hoping to become a TCG master.
I still can't just get the thought out of my head that maybe
Traveler only needs
he's
to
just
beat
making
2
all
more
this up.
opponents
It'd be
to
so
become an
funny.
official TCG player.
That's it though,
Sucrose
talking
may have
animals
lost the
is
last
not
duel, but
crazy
don't be
for a
disheartened.
Genshin.
I can assure you that winning 3 games is well within your ability. But first things first, Shuyen. Before that, our TCG newcomers should receive their free gift.
Okay.
Ah, yes, my goodness. Completely slipped my mind. I'm lucky to have Prince here to remind
A
me.
free casket of
Everyone
tombs,
who
huh?
wants to start playing Genius Invocation TCG is entitled to claim a free casket of tomes.
Wonderful.
Oh, Timaeus mentioned it, didn't he? It was from the light novels he's been reading. The thing that the main character found in his attic.
Was it a casket of tomes?
Right. The soul of an ancient TCG.
Oh, we're really ripping off of Yu-Gi-Oh now, aren't we?
So the casket of tomes is actually real?
Jeez.
Well, actually, all card cases in Genius Invocation TCG are called caskets of tomes. Not only do they provide a reliable and sturdy container to store your decks, they can also sense when other people in the area are also carrying a casket of tomes with them.
Honestly though, doing like a parody off of other things is usually pretty funny.
They can sense each other is because they have the souls of ancient TCG players inside.
That would mean an extraordinarily high number of people in history have been turned into disembodied
Jeez.
souls as a consequence of playing card games. No. The real reason that it can sense other caskets is because it holds a nifty little mechanism.
It's another reason why I had to wait till after Sumeru.
Darn, what a letdown. Alright, now let's see this casket of tomes already.
All caskets of tomes are issued by Margaret, so you will need to see her to claim yours.
The one who just left to go on a walk?
Honest, if Prince and I were responsible for handing them out, knowing how eager we both are to promote the game, we'd probably have dished them all out by now. Okay, so go and see Margaret to claim your casket of tomes, use it to find another player, beat them in a duel, and then come back here.
But even for
Okay.
the Traveler, that's only 2 wins in total. What about the last one?
I shall choose the final contestant she must beat in order to become an official TCG player, for it must be one of comparable prowess. Excellent plan, Prince. Happy dueling, both of you.
Okay. Really setting the standard high, aren't we? Alright. Hey Margaret, I need my free cards. Hopefully you're not talking to D-Luke. Oh, you really went on a long walk, didn't you? A whole like 20 meters. It's like 60 feet. This is a nice fountain though.
Hello, you 3. Has little Iona finished teaching you the rules of genius invocation?
Yep.
Ah, I see you're here for your casket of tomes, aren't you? A very useful tool indeed.
So this is a casket of tomes.
That's right. A purpose-built case for your card deck that can even detect when someone else nearby is carrying one. Gosh, whoever invented this must have seriously
gosh.
disliked being alone.
Really throwing shade over here at a game's creator.
Game is pretty lonely if you got no one else to play it with.
True. So I'm glad that these customers, TCG players, are able to congregate at the Cat's Tail. You're not wrong, but that's secondary.
And you know they're not doing that the Angel share. Especially since D-Luke didn't even really know about it.
It creates a nice atmosphere. Anyway, now that you have your caskets of tomes, it's time to find some opponents.
All right. In that case, I'll go find some people to play against too. Let's meet back at the Cat's Tail in a while.
In all honesty, I'd probably personally go drinking at the Angel share, not the Cat's Tail. That's because I could just sit in, like, I don't know, the second floor and be by myself. Oh. Ugh. I need to remember how I switch. So, there's some weird shortcut you have to do so that Genshin doesn't tab out. It was like you made a shortcut that makes it so you bypass, like, even pulling up the launcher.
Thanks. I'll do my best.
I don't remember how you do it, though. I'll have to look it up. That my OBS really doesn't like game capture for some reason on Genshin. Oh. I thought we were actually gonna meet Fischl in this quest based on the, like, event screen. Maybe I was wrong. But I think I did see that there was a Fischl card at some point. Oh, do we actually have to just use it? I thought we were going back into the Cat's Tail. Oh, okay. That kind of makes sense. Oops. Kind of makes sense, though, because, like I was saying, it kind of opens up the possibility, if you have to go search them out, of being able to,
That way, let's go see.
like, go meet them in other regions.
Aha! It's you!
I'm sorry. Is there anything I can assist the two of you with?
Yeah, let's just go bother a knight on duty.
Invocation TCG players. But we have to pass the test first, so we need to be 3 players in a duel. Our casket of tomes led us to you.
Yeah, this guy's not working or anything. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm on duty right now.
I'd have been more concerned if a knight was... Oh my gosh.
I see you're serious
Jeez.
about this. Very well. As a fellow
Oh, okay.
TCG player, I cannot refuse an earnest invitation to duel. So be it. Then let the duel begin.
So... I was curious, do we end up with... Okay, so we don't have any other characters. I wonder if we get those later. That would make sense to me. Have you just use the starter deck at least for a few actual duels. What do we got? Geo isn't relevant. Switch characters. Spin this. Oh, okay. So like cards like this too, it costs 2 so that you can use 1 less, but you would assume that support card sticks around. Might as well hold on to that. Destroy all summons. We haven't seen a reason to believe that there's summons yet. Healing card can stay. I'm not going to worry about characters being defeated as well. I don't think will happen early enough that you have to worry about it. The issue is, though, genuinely, with only 3 cards, eventually you'd hope there'd be cards to replace, like these crowns that you can't use. Alright. Oh, he doesn't even have, like, character cards. He has hilly churls. Like a true NPC. I keep forgetting that we have Sucrose now, and I probably don't need to reroll Animo dice, but... Ah, well. What was this again? Oh. I don't want to use 2... Wait, for D-Luke's skill... Hold on. Let me just use this real quick. Just trying to remember Because I know the Crimson Witch thing only affects once per turn. So we wouldn't be able to basic attack if we did that. So I'm just going to go ahead and basic attack. But getting like set up, I think for longer duels would definitely be really important. I wonder if there will be a speed up function too. I just get really impatient personally. I do like free... Oh. Keep jumping the gun. A lot of animo dice here. I mean, this duel is clearly made to be easy enough that we probably don't even really need to worry too much about switching characters. Oh, okay. I don't know why I was thinking I could do that. Obviously it has to be active character. Very nice. Wait, what? Oh.
I can do it.
There we go. I was just clicking in the wrong order. Like, the ability to transfer energy, too, I'm thinking could be really nice. Especially since other characters seem to only require 2 energy. Although you would assume that means the burst might be slightly less powerful.
Gosh, I'm lost. You're remarkably good at this, considering
I'm
how
sorry,
new to the
Spawn.
game you are. Let's play again when you have some time. But ideally, not when I'm on duty.
Well, clearly you didn't get into trouble over it, so... I don't know.
Now we have 2 victories under our belt. Let's get back to the cat's tail. Paimon wonders who Prince.
Maybe it is Fischl, though. I'm wondering. Prince seemed very uppity about the whole dueling thing, so I doubt it's Prince himself.
I sensed that she had what it took to become an official TCG player, but she has returned to the tavern more quickly than I had expected.
I mean, we walked like 60 feet one way to find Margaret, and then like 60 feet the other way, and beat up the knight at the front gates.
Watching this game immensely. Not just Prince. I can't wait either. Come, your opponent is waiting for you in one of the private rooms.
Is there all this pomp and circumstance for everyone else trying to learn?
Whoever it is, right, traveler? What ho, fellow boy,
Ah.
fellow boy.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Fischl. I don't think that my brain can handle that this late at night. It's only like 8:30, but I'm tired.
Your opponent sounds anxious to begin. Do not delay. That's what Prince said. Please enter and enjoy your Genius Invocation TCG duel.
Honestly though, it's gotta be such a blast being like a voice actor for a character like Fischl. There's so much room to like just be extravagant.
Else but the princessin. For, as the name of this hallowed rite suggests, only when the
Oh my
wisest
gosh.
of heroes is summoned can the master of cards hope to be crowned the champion. This path is a treacherous one.
Honestly though, as sad as her part in like the Golden Apple Archipelago was, I somewhat envy people that, you know, and I'm, well, I guess I do it sometimes too, but just being able to like lose yourself in a fantasy or something. Maybe not the best thing to do, but it's still helpful to do sometimes. Bit of an escape. Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that right?
Indeed. Main Fräulein has watched many games of Genius Invocation TCG, and has gained a solid grasp of the rules. Even in a duel between beginners, it is best that both participants are well versed in them.
Oh, between beginners.
That's true.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
This makes sense now. Prince did say that he was gonna pair us with someone of a similar
Can you imagine if you lose on like your 3rd duel and he's just like, by the way, you can't play anymore. Sorry. I picked out an opponent for you, and one of you has to lose.
Glance at these mere machinations of mankind.
Main Fräulein, too, has bested 2 opponents thus far, and is therefore 1 step away from becoming an
Oz also
official
pretty much
TCG
summarizes what she does
So there's
say in
one
like a
of the
shorter
one,
sentence.
huh? Either Fischl or the Traveler is gonna come out of this duel as an official TCG player.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
The princessin herself heeds the call of fate and descends to this realm from the Immonakreich. Yet still, you dare to doubt the inevitability of the inevitable.
Yeah.
Your stubborn foolishness is contemptible.
I need the battle pass
Main
experience,
Fräulein,
Fischl.
I implore you to consider less odious turns of phrase.
You're forced to
lest
feast
you
on your own
forced to
words.
Feast on your words in the fullness of time.
What? I shall not lose, Oz.
Mm-hmm.
What say you, Outlander? Do you wish to make an enemy
Man,
of me?
I was talking in the stream lot that didn't save. I was like, surely like Bennett would be like the type of kid to play this game. But with Bennett's luck, Bennett won't get 3 wins.
Then I say
Jeez.
it's time to see what you are made of.
Mm-hmm. She is Fischl Bennett. Bennett is a card. And Kaya. Pass on that. Pass on that. These 3 are probably fine. I haven't really been using this. This is one of those I'll probably just test on my own time. Because again, spending... Oh wait, no, this is a different... This isn't the one I was thinking about. Never mind. Sorry. Alright, select active character. Might as well be Kaya if we have the sword. Should probably prioritize cryo dice here if we can. Nice, we rolled 1. That's a little bit more usable, yeah. It just would feel bad if you can only have, like, again, we're learning more and more, and they say a minimum of 3, but if you can only have 3 on the field, it'd feel a little bit bad to have, like, potentially the Omni dice. That means half the dice are technically, like, dead dice outside of using them for, like, cards like this. Even less if you, for whatever reason, are using, like, Bennett and D on the same team. Either way, though. Again, that's probably me just overthinking it. That is the one I thought. I should have rerolled this. I'm trying to remember these because it's just easier to remember them. Until I realized that I did not, in fact, remember the correct one.
By royal decree.
Why did that only do 1 damage? Oh. Okay. That's got to be a summon, right? Yeah. That's not what I meant to do. Just trying to drag it to here. Tune it to cryo, and then just basic attack. Arguably with the elemental damage bonus, I think that obviously using like a basic attack feels a little bit worse. But at the same time, like, damage is damage. What have we got? This is probably Animo. Yep. And all the Electro dice. Huh. She got a bow. You're gonna put a bow on the character that we're about to just annihilate? And she got an extra damage out of that. Do I work? Yeah, might as well. Goes back to the whole you might as well play some setup when you can type of thing. Takes 4 jeez. Maybe that's the cost of it being 2 less energy. It is harder to actually play.
This is but a small sacrifice necessary to achieve ultimate victory.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. That's not what I meant to do. Oh, okay. Might as well play this. Yeah, it was a spend less 1 element to die. So that theoretically means once per round you get a free switch. Because it only costs 1 elemental die to switch. Oh, okay, so summons. Okay. Well, now there's not a need for me to use 4 energy to banish a summon, but you would also assume there's probably going to be decks that can just spam those out. Though a cost of 4 still feels a little bit bad to eat. If I get a I can't burst. Well, unless you know what, I could just... Oh, right.
Out of the way!
Oh!
I'm not done.
Well,
Now, see what happens to those who
we
dare
won't be using
defy
burst
the
then.
princesses.
That's awkward.
Animal test 6308.
Mm-hmm. It does make a free switch. Yeah, that's theoretically worth it, especially if you get it on earlier.
Let's finish this swiftly.
You pay 2 to do that, to get 1 free switch a turn, and it ordinarily costs 1, so on the 3rd use, you've already made up your energy. Let's convert one of these dice to Pyro. That... alright. I was going to try and use the Sucrose skill before I... Oops. Well, at this point, you might as well just... there's not even a reason to. That's awkward. Oh, I could have switched that to a Pyro Dice maybe and done a basic attack. That's the type of thing I always realize as I hit the end round button and I'm like, oh, wait a second. I'm an idiot. Why is it that in both the times we've had a character go down to, it's been Kaya? I'm not trying to bully Kaya, but it's kind of just what's happening. It does feel like, though, unless you get like a big flashy playoff, it is probably hard to make a comeback. If every single character card has 10 HP, and you can really get momentum going with attacks.
I want to help.
Mm-hmm. But this should absolutely just... Oh, wait.
Absorption test.
Oh, it did one more. Oh, but it did damage to... Oh, okay, that's really cool. Pay 3... Oh, okay. So just, convert this. Very nice.
Swirl, Mark 2.
Huh.
What happened?
Oh, and it gave this one. Okay.
With lightning, twixt upper and lower
Oh my gosh.
strike thy pointy beak into this obstacle and remove it from my path.
Is this how she won her other 2 duels? Did she just have Oz nuke the opponent?
Traveler.
That's what she does in the in-game. Be pretty funny. I would say 8 dice just feels awkward though, given that most of your attacks cost 3. Unless you're using something like the, like, use 1 less. Actually, no, I guess that kind of incentivizes you to play those types of things. Again, I'm sure people much smarter on balance changes than me have really thought this all through. Oh, look at all the animo dice. It seems like just in game, like in game 2, it feels like Swirl is the main purpose of bringing an animo character. Not just a, you know, attack with animo, which is kind of what we've done, but eh.
Couldn't break the curse.
We're gonna have to make sad voice lines too. I don't let my characters die very often, at least not on purpose, so I don't hear that, like, falling in combat lines. So they're like, now you're gonna have to hear them.
The cursed dragon looms near once more, casting its dark shadow on the slender threads of fate, hiding them from my vision.
Uh-huh.
Traveler.
Well, you'd be able to see better if you weren't wearing an eye patch.
What a truly ingenious plot. And what an exciting duel to witness.
Congratulations. You've won 3 duels now. That makes you an official TCG player.
Oh, did you already win 3 duels in the time we won 2?
Sucrose, you're back!
That was fast.
Does that mean
Especially since our second opponent was a literal... Oh, I was about to say...
when I got back, I heard you were in the middle of your final duel.
Do you imagine that he then puts her against Fischl and Fischl also loses to Sucrose?
One, two as well.
And it just became bullying.
It seems I am forced to admit, fellow voyager of the stellar void, that your mastery of the cards is second to none.
To commemorate your glorious ascent to a battlefield beyond this lowly mortal realm.
Oh, okay, it's her card.
I grant thee an incarnation of my majesty in miniature. As you embark on this ingenious vocation, may you wield it in battle against all your fated foes, that not a single one of them may be left standing.
Main Fräulein wishes to give you a Main Fräulein character card.
So what exactly are the requirements for getting your own character card? I get that, like, her and Bennett are members of, like, the Adventurers Guild. We got Knights and Former Knights, and a famous alchemist. But, like, still.
Oh, excuse me, ma'am. I am also a beginner who has won 2 games so far.
What, does the cat not have to choose your third opponent?
You in a duel? If you would be willing, of course.
Nothing would delight me more.
I would really feel bad if they just...
To join me in performing the hallowed rite of genius.
But to be fair, it would be Sucrose' second loss as
One
well.
other thing. When I got back, Prince and Shuyan said there was something they needed to give you.
An instant
if
victory
you managed
card.
to become an official TCG player.
I mean, that is the thing in a lot of TCGs. It's just that usually they have a whole lot of loops to them.
No card game in the world has a card like that. Paimon bets it's some kind of prize. For
It's like
making
Exodia
an
is technically
official
5
TCG
cards, but there's...
player.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially, there's a lot. I know... Like MTG, what's an insta-win condition in MTG? There's probably a bunch. The first one that comes to mind is... Okay, we're gonna get away from that. I know there's like one Planeswalker in MTG that let you summon an assassin token, that if they did enough like poison tokens, you insta-won the game or something like that. But it's actually not that uncommon.
Duel in the end. I knew you'd do it. Congratulations. You are now officially recognized members of the Genius Invocation TCG community.
Wonderful.
Very well done. Now, I will explain to you what becoming an official TCG player
Oh,
entails.
we're doing this now.
The first thing all new official TCG players receive is their TCG Player's Handbook.
You don't think like a
This
rulebook
handbook
would have been
tells you
important
exactly
while
what
we
you
were
need to
learning
do
the
to become
game?
a top-tier TCG player, but make sure you read it. Secondly, a range of Genius Invocation merchandise is now available for you to purchase here at the Cat's Tail.
Oh, more
So you see,
microtransactions.
becoming an official TCG player is really just the first step. And thirdly, whenever you wish to play a game with a friend, you can use the invitation board there. Whoever you wish to
Okay.
duel against,
So you could
be
invite,
invited to the tavern for a game.
like IRL friends. And I am realizing too, like I was saying at the start, I was like, oh, it has to be like time-wise finish it. It's obviously based on the number of turns you're using around. That was one thing I was confused at first when they were saying whoever ends their turn first.
Yes, it's right by the bar counter. Once you get the hang of it, you can play with your friends whenever you want. That's it, really.
Well,
If there's anything
unfortunately,
else you
most of the
don't quite
friends,
understand,
I actually
you
have
can
3
always
different
come and ask
friends
me.
with a lot of their like Mondstadt, Leo, and Inazuma questlines, and none of them play
Yes,
Genshin
indeed,
anymore.
I'm quite sure they will. Oh, sorry. I forgot to translate for you.
Still could be fun.
Prince would like to say, hope you have fun playing Genius Invocation TCG.
Thank you. I actually don't mind it. I think it's really cool. And I do hope that they kind of add upon it a little bit more, because I think that could be really cool. So then, find challengers in the open world or enter the tavern after reaching player level 2. Are we already player level 2? Huh. Prince and Ascension challenges. Okay, so it's like the actual like world level system in a sense. All over the corners of the world, get XP and lucky coins. I would assume the lucky coins are probably what you use to get more packs. Invitations to registered challengers, those are probably the actual like characters, playable character rosters. That's the matchmaking. Spend the lucky coins to earn, yeah, to get purchase cards, card backs, okay. Dynamic skins, that's really cool. They actually, it seems like they put quite a lot into this. I was surprised too, because I don't think I mentioned it this stream. Again, there's a lot of stuff that I missed out on, like the it was like a 2.5 hour stream before I really realized. I just kind of kept on going because my actual internet speed is literally like upload download 3 times what it is on my previous internet, and as long as my previous internet didn't drop, which we had issues with that during like our 3 Hopes playthrough, it was actually fine. The actual bandwidth you need to stream isn't. I was surprised, at least when I started streaming. It's like 12 megabytes upload to do a general 1080p stream. But anyway, I digress. I was just mentioning I was surprised that the actual like patch size for for this patch seemed to be a little bit shorter. I think it was only like 1 point something gigs compared to like 3+ I've seen on a lot of other downloads. Either way though, I am, well, actually I'm gonna check this real quick. Might as well check this actually real quick. So we are just player level 1. Weekly guest challenges. Probably run around and do that on my own time. So there are 27 character cards, 238 action cards. That's a lot more than I thought. 27 character cards though, I mean, how many? Oh, I guess we could view this real quick. So, these are the support cards. 237 though is like a lot. I'm genuinely surprised. Purchase provisions, match invitation letter, card backs. Oh, I kind of like that. I don't like that you need to spend these resources though, like Dendrobium. I still haven't max ascended my Sara. I could do Glaze Lily, Dandelion Seeds. I just don't want to go collect more in case another character ever uses them. What could we do though? What would look nice? I like blue. I actually really like this Glaze Lily one. I haven't fully ascended my Ningguang and I'm not sure who else uses it. So at player level 5 you can get these other player cards. That's good to know. Those are pretty pricey. So there is actually quite a lot to be played for sure. Oh, these are dynamic skins. Okay. I'll have to figure out how you get that. But either way. Oh, one last thing I wanted to check. So how many? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 characters looks like. You don't have to sound so angry, dude. So like 60 character cards. So if all of them are meant to be playable characters, then I guess we could have actually seen right there. It looked like it was largely Mondstadt characters too, which again is cool because it gives you more room for like, oh actually, never mind, I lied. So we've got, I mean, you'd assume these character cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 18, 24, 27. So there is a dynamic character skin for every playable character card because it said there was 27. So actually, no, they have a good spread of characters. Which also, to be fair, kind of puts in the idea that there could be more like players in other nations, but you would assume they probably already actually implemented. It's also interesting that they have, I did not think that they were going to do other non-playable characters before they did all of them, like all the playable characters, but we've got the Terror Shroom, Lawchurl, that's not even like a boss, the Magu Kenki, Pyro Agent, Mirror Maiden. Isn't that the boss you fight for like Xingqiu and whatnot? Kale, Noel, Ningguang. I'm surprised that like there are certain characters not here, like Beidou. Because at first I was thinking just with the character cards we saw, which were like the Knights, again, Alchemist, Adventurers Guild. But they have character, and again, it makes sense. You would just, in the context of like this being a card game within the Genshin world, seems a bit strange to have like, say, well, maybe that's not a fair sense. But I was like, some of these characters you would think more than others. Like Jean makes a lot of sense. If you have like Diluc and Kaya, of course there would be Jean. But like Noelle is still a knight trainee. I wonder if they're ever gonna not do Noelle dirty and let her actually become a knight of Favonius. Especially after like the other trainees and stuff have been shown to become knights. And even like Mika, I seem to be around her age, and she's definitely capable. But yeah, I don't know, like characters I'd say I'm surprised, but that could be implemented later would be Beidou would be one that I would have expected to see of characters from Liyue. Who else would there? I'm actually kind of surprised there isn't an Ito card, because Ito seems like a character that would play this game. In the same vein of Beidou, like maybe Dea. But again, that's all stuff that leaves room for this to grow, and it seems like, I mean, they've already implemented quite a lot. I'm actually really impressed, but anyways, guys, I will probably do the rest of this off stream. Same as always. I really love streaming Genshin. I was really bummed out, actually, that my stream had so much trouble after we were so far into the interlude, because you really can't go back in Genshin Quest. At least you can go back and reread them and everything, but as far as experiencing and everything, Genshin is one of those games that you only really get one chance. And genuinely, making content on a Genshin, in my opinion, is kind of difficult if you don't want to stream like dailies. I find Spiral Abyss kind of boring. Farming artifacts as well is just not something that I'd probably stream. But like I was saying, there won't be a stream Saturday. There will probably be a stream Sunday around the normal time. And I will these next couple weeks because of like where Christmas and stuff falls. And then this Saturday, I'll try to maybe do 1 or 2 streams at least during the week when I have time. They'll probably be shorter streams. I have no idea what they are. Could be more roguelikes, like I was saying. We still need to finish Inscription. Now that I think about it, we never did finish like the last few quests on Xenoblade Chronicles 3 or the DLC. Like, there's a lot of things. The sky's the limit, really, when it comes to streaming. During the weekdays, though, I'll probably try and do stuff that I can do a little bit shorter streams, like 2-3 hour streams, because this was right at just under 2 hours. And, like, on the weekends, I like to sit down and do, like, 3, 4, 5 hour streams, if not, but like I said, during the weekdays here, like, I'm probably going to go to bed here in a little bit. It's only like 9 o'clock where I'm at, but I got work in the morning. Anyways, guys, thanks everyone who stopped by, watched the VOD or watched the stream or anything. I'll catch you guys next time.